Alright, gang, let's do this thing.
I took a minute to just rename the grid into Treehouse. Feels appropriate. Let's see. Trying to remember where we left off here. I think we had just gotten the medbay complete with the O2 generator. So I believe the next order of business probably is to go ahead and start grinding away and moving completely up under that tree. So I am going to jump right into that. Oh, but you know what? Before I do, I just remembered I wanted to talk about med bays for just a second. When you make a med bay, you want to make sure that you at least lay eyes on this field right here, share block. This opens it up to anyone that joins your faction to spawn at that location. I like to set mine to no share to begin with and then go from there. There are bugs in the game that for some reason sometimes, not often, but it has happened to me, you can build this block and it will be set to share with all. And all of a sudden strangers, red enemies, are spawning at your base before you figure out what's going on, and then you've given away your location. All they have to do is spawn, set a GPS. Even if you kill them, they know where you are, and if you have bad luck, they'll post your location in global chat. Just wanted to make sure I mentioned this share field of the medbay. Alright, now to make this go away. Okay, so drill rig is gone, and now I think we can actually move this large cargo and grind that conveyor and move the battery, or grind the battery, and get rid of the wind turbine, put a turbine or two, maybe three, up in these trees. And then we will be in the configuration that I want it to be at from the beginning, so then I can extend this platform out just a little bit, remake the drill rig to extend over with 2 or 3 horizontal pistons, and continue working on this chasm of a quarry we're building. Okay, first make sure the storage is emptied by sorting on storage only, and probably even the word large to get just the 2 large containers. And maybe I will, it's a trick you can do, rename this one to delete, go back to inventory, just large containers, just storage. There's my delete container. This is the one I want to empty. There we go. Anything else attached to this on that side that's going to matter? No. Get all this material back. I love zero loss grinding. So many games penalize you a percentage when you grind after constructing. This one doesn't.
Inventory full.
That's great. I'll leave that connected to the last moment because it's generating power. And I should make another wind turbine before I grind that one off of the base. Yeah, it would still run on batteries, but again, always try to cultivate good habits
Inventory full.
Okay. And turbine is all that's left. Where should have put one? Well, how about we look from above? We'll poke one up in this tallest peak. How about that? I want it to be right in those branches if I can get it there. It'll just drop straight down. Right to here. I can get a block connected. Ah, I didn't bring anything with me. Can I reach? Ah, no. I think I was... There. Let's see what happens if I run it up right there. 2 or 1. I'll just count that one as 1 since that's just above ground level. 2, 3. 8 and 1 for good measure. Turbine on top. Let me snap it. Yeah, that's looking like it's gonna be right in there. That's pretty cool. Fill up on that. I might be able to do a little bit better on this color as well. Because I think from altitude, a lot of the landscape peels away and it goes to a lighter green. So I may want to switch to that. So I'll go up to altitude and then I'll open my paint tool and try to match it while I hover and see if I can do any better. Let's try it. And doesn't change too much. It's right around in there. The sun's up. Almost midday. I'll try to get that color green, this color here, into these darker tones. Let's see what I can do. Is it too light? It's not bad. I will go with that for now. And let's see what that looks like. Left control shift, middle mouse button, click. Certainly looks lighter, but you know, with that sun, depending on what angle it's at and what time of the day and the shadows and whatever other variable is involved, you're going to have some variance. That's not bad though. Can leave it like that. Okay. That's one turbine. Maybe while I'm doing this I'll pop a second one. Maybe, let's see, can I go diagonally in this tree and stay?
Your health is low.
I just took a lightning bolt to my skull. Oh my. That startled me. At least I didn't die. Okay. It's not even raining. Yikes. Okay. Yeah, that startled me so bad I forgot what I was doing. I was looking for a spot for the second turbine that's still within this tree. Let me see if diagonal would work. Be diagonal towards these other group of trees. I'll try that. And I can get away with that by using some of these corner blocks, which is a variant of this block. It's called the mouse wheel. That light armor block, if I turn it up on its end and match them together, I can make a pretty nice diagonal offshoot. And let's see, should I do it up in the air or at ground level? Do it up in the air, it's going to throw the shadow further away, but Either way, there's going to be a shadow on the ground. Unless I keep this on the ground. Which I'll do. That. See, I'm getting this diagonal effect. I need more steel. Right. Oh, plenty. I'm showing red. Trick me. I'll go a few more. Just be deeply into that tree. I am probably going to be struck again. A good time to be working up in the air. I think I'll switch to the full square. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One for good luck. And the turbine on top. Plate. Dump some of my interior plates, not steel plates. I'll dump some of these. Hit it so well I can't find it. Okay. Oh. Yeah, bad time to be doing this. It destroyed what it, yeah, it destroyed the turbine. Alright, what is going on here? Try this way. Okay. Sneak up here and weld really quickly and get out of the line of fire. I think I'll finish this welding when the storm goes away. The up high welding anyway. Jeez. Alright, well, I'm not sheltered from the elements here, so I think I'm going to hang out just for a few minutes and flash forward after this storm bids us adieu. Okay, well, we're back to sunny weather. That's good. We'll finish up this welding. It's not too bad. Could be better. I think that line is going to give us away. I could have gone underground with that, or I could have put the wind turbines a little bit close together under this tree, but I'm just showing you some ideas that can be done. Okay, now that I have 2 other turbines, I've upgraded my electricity even after I grind this one, which I'll do right now. Now this battery is still holding some charge, and so if I take the other batteries and set them to recharge, they will actively pull the juice out of that remaining battery. So watch what happens here. So I've got 1.09 megawatts stored in this battery. I'll set these other 4 to pull. So they're ganging up on this last one. And within 5 minutes, all of the energy out of this battery will have been transported over and stored there. No waste. So I will hold off on grinding this connection away for another 5 minutes. And maybe take a peek on how I'm going to spend this drilling. So I think I'll keep it in line with how it was there, just 2 blocks out. I could be using half blocks to save lots and lots of steel, but at this point I think I'm home free on having to conserve. This can all change, but just laying this out visually so I can get an idea of how I want to do it. I may put another storage container over here. Okay, well, I'll think about that while this battery discharges. Okay, as we come into the final seconds of this battery depletion, once this battery is all the way out, the base is essentially not going to be functioning because these other batteries are still set to recharge, and that means they're not going to release any current to any device that needs them. So I need to move rather quickly. I don't want to switch them back to auto here because some of the power may flow back into the other battery. No, it's on discharge, so that should be okay, actually. That should be okay. These 4 back to auto. That will power the base back up. This one stays depleted, and then I can grind it. Okay, once that is gone, let's see. I think I will place 2 cargo containers down here, and let's see what would be the best way to get them over here, lined up with that hole. Doesn't have to be perfect, but a little planning never hurt. What about this? Looks like, let's try turning down right here. Let's see if I can get... Not standing in the right spot. There it is. Okay. Is that enough? That's not enough. Well, here's what I could do as well. I could... I can always change this. You know what? I'm not happy with this. I think I'm going to come at it from above through the trees and then come down onto a cargo container. But I think in order to do that, I need to replace that block, this corner block right here, with a conveyor junction that'll give me a side port to come off of. But if I make that cut, it will disconnect everything and possibly blow that tree out of here as well. I don't want to do that, so let's try putting a block underneath to make sure it's all connected. Don't have fleet. Make sure that is anchored in here solid. I don't want any blocks to hit that tree, or the tree may disappear. That should be good. Can't quite get to that. There we go. Now, I should be able to make this cut without repercussions. Conveyor junction. Let me get that welded up. Make sure oxygen, hydrogen stays flowing to the med bay and the generator. Straight. Trees. I like that. Is that far enough? Yes, it is. Downward. Getting close to the large cargo, I believe. Let's see if I'm down far enough to snap that in. Try to keep that as tucked up under that tree as I can. I think the next one I can set back a bit. How far should I go back with it? I think I want to leave 3 blocks in between in case I decide to show you guys how sorters work. Directional cargo sorters. I'll leave room so at a later date I can put those in. This diagonal may be stopping me. It is. Can I grind one and get away with it? Something along that edge there was blocking
Inventory
it.
full.
this up later, but just to get things going. I definitely want 2 cargo containers for sure. I don't want to be having to stop the drill rig in the middle of a deep core plunge. Okay. Looking good. We're starting the drill rig. Rebuild. Wait. Do a little bit of welding on this floor. Not completely happy with this green color. I think it needs to be a little bit less yellow, more, a touch more into the green.
Energy low.
Let's give that a shot. A little bit more to the green side. Just a touch. Like that. That's better. Let's try that. Now, the high midday sun, it shines a bit, but further down on the horizon it should be a little better. Maybe a touch darker even would do us some good, but I'm going to leave it there for now. And start running conveyors out here. Let's see, should I run it from this spot? Probably so, or should I come off of the front so the material would have to come into the cargo first? Or I could even run it off of this back container so the material would flow into this container and be forced to overflow into this container and then into there. But the sorting system, or the systems on the grid usually handle pulling it just fine. But if you're planning on putting cargo sorters in here, for example, if you want to put 4 containers and you want to put sorters in between them to automatically have ore in one, for instance, ice in another, components and parts in a third, and ingots and raw materials in the fourth, you could have that sorting going on. And I may teach that in the future, but if you're going to go in that direction, you want to be thinking about that now on the layout so you don't have too much grinding to do later on. But for now, I think we'll keep it simple. And since I'm already built vertically up to this point, I think I'll just replace this with a junction and come out from that. go. Do I have green lights all the way? Yes, I do. Okay, I think I'm going to start right with the more expensive materials that give me more options. Start with a piston immediately. If I go too much further, then the rig is going to get pretty wobbly. So let's see, let's take a little higher look. 2 will get me out there a good distance. Yeah, a lot of this territory will be, it's already well traveled because of that hole, but that's okay. I think just for the purpose of this series, this is going to work just fine. You'll get the idea for sure. A million different ways to do this. And I'm sure as you're watching, you'll think of plenty of ways in which I could have done it better. And so will I. And since we ground the other drill rig, all of those, that group and those other pistons are gone. And treehouse. Highlight the area, Control C for copy. Control V as in Victor for paste. Okay, now I should create a group and call these piston over group. And let's just run those over to get an idea of how far we're going to get with it. It's going to be the center of the drill rig. So the width of 5 drills is the diameter that we'll drill, which will be wider than the current hole. It's not quite out that far. Might go one more. It's going to be wobbly, but I'm going to go one more. Now, I could do something called nested pistons, where I put the first one to push out in this direction. I use 2 elbows to do 180 and use the second piston to push back in the other direction. 2 more elbows to do another 180 and use the third to push out in this direction. That's called nested piston setup. It works better for stabilizing the drill rig, but I've noticed some pretty strange behavior when you try to group pistons that you want to be pushed in opposite directions under a single button click. I'll just let you try that if you feel like it, to discover the details of what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to use nested on this particular setup. I'm going to keep things simple. I don't want to have to spend a lot of time troubleshooting when I just want to explain these concepts to you guys. I need more parts. Use a junction. Now, will I be able to? I will use nested on the up-down. One thing I noticed in the last drill rig too, by the way, when I was grinding it down, I noticed that the 2 outermost drills, the conveyor tubes that were connecting them, had been damaged because of the banging around that it was doing. And you couldn't tell visually that they were damaged, but they were just below functional level, which means they were not passing material through, And I must have wasted 100,000 kilograms of stone that just disappeared because those drills could not pass the material that they were mining. So be on the lookout for that. I would be in a lot better shape with my raw material if I would have spotted that. But I spotted it too late. Now that makes these pistons pretty darn close together. I will chance it, and then if there's a problem, you'll have the opportunity to see what that problem is. Okay, that's actually not going to work.
Inventory full. Fuel low.
Fill these bottles up.
Fuel critical.
Gonna need some more ice before too long. Rotor head, advanced rotor head. Drill. And that's in the way. Something's in the way. Maybe it's that interior plate. No. The ground is in the way. Right click, drill it. I don't want to pick up material. I just want the problem to be gone. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Okay. I can slowly work it out from here. Now I could retract those two pistons and carve a little spot there, but I'm not even going to bother until I'm going to create one half of this drill head. I can't create this half because it's blocked by this terrain. I could hand drill it, but why not be lazy? But what I am going to do this time is I'm going to use conveyor blocks instead of the conveyor tubes. The blocks are more durable. There's more material in those. So I'm going to use those, even though it'll take a moment longer to weld them. They will be more durable. Well, one goes on this side. But on this side, immediately on this side, is the drill. And then a spacer. And then from here, there'll be a drill on this side, a drill on that side, another spacer, well, one more spacer, and then that last fifth drill. Okay, there'll be another drill there. And then the third drill. Well, I could. Always options. We're already very sort of wobbly because we're so far out there, suspended. And when we start going down, it's going to get even worse. As long as we take it slow, it won't break apart. I'm more worried about lightning. It seems to pick on this. Drill rigs. Yeah, so the other two drills need to come off of this side here. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate. This time I'm going to take these rotors slower. 3.75. Let's start at 1. Nice and slow. I could, since the unfinished portion is now out over the opening, I could stop the advanced rotor and finish constructing this side, which start another drill. Last spacer. And the last drill. QAT. Q another 1,000. there is our layout of our 5-head drill. Making sure I have the openings or the skip steps in the right spot to cover the circular pattern of each individual drill. Looks good. Nice slow rotation until I open this up. Just spotted a mistake that I made. I should have extended this piston all the way up and brought pistons down to make a nice, really deep hole. Don't feel like grinding all this and redoing it. I should have paid better attention, but you know, that's how it goes. So yeah, that would have been, if I would have extended this all the way up and then put probably 2 more downward pistons, I would have made an absolute chasm of a drill hole, but I don't really think we're going to need it. We might. This is probably going to do all we need to do to get all the way into space. And at that point, I mean, once we're into space, then I could start bringing back huge loads of iron, nickel, silicone directly, huge amounts, straight into the refinery, and more digging holes. And at that point, I typically like to move away from this giant hole because it is a beacon that lets people know where you are. On a survival server, this is definitely not a long-term strategy to live next to a hole like this. 1 or 2 more revolutions. And then I should be able to turn up the speed to 3.75. And slowly start making this cut. And so each drill that you add out, each unit that you go out horizontally adds a massive amount to the yield of that cut. And a lot of people say that you could even space these drills out even more. You could put an additional spacer in between, and if you go slow enough, these drill heads will gather that material. I haven't had great luck with that. You can do it. I know that you can, theoretically, and I've seen proof that you can, but I just haven't had good luck with it, and I find that it's really not necessary. This pattern will get you where you need to go. Okay, I think it's time to turn up the speed. And some people like to make platforms with control panels so everything is button controlled. I find that it's easier to just find a control panel any old place. Remember our good and trusted number for rotation, 3.75. It really makes those outward, the furthest drills on the outsides are really moving at this point. If you find that they're not spending enough time over the area to collect the material, then slowing it down. You know what? I think I'm going to take it down to 3. It looks a little too quick. 3.75 works better with a 4 wide drill. It's all adjustments. Like that outermost drill. Take a look at it. And it's moving. Now, all right. I think we're ready to start making a downward. Downward group set up. Way too fast. 0.05. It's probably too fast as well. I'm going to start at 0.02, or yeah, 0.02. And let's see what that does. And again, I'm most interested in the outermost drill. That's what I'm using. That's what I'm judging to make decisions on resetting numbers. I'm seeing sparks, but I'm gonna let it go. At least for 2 or 3 more turns until I can really determine what's happening. It looks to be too fast. Considerably too fast. I'm gonna half the speed. Reverse it for just 5 seconds. Reverse again to send it back down. Now watch. That is really going way too fast. I'm not too concerned about material waste again in the sandy layer. Not much coming out of it anyway, but yeah, too fast. Decrease it again by half. 0.5. There's it on Mississippi 2. There's again. You'll get a feel for this. Still very fast. I'm going to cut it down by half again. Reverse 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Reverse again. I do that just to take the pressure off the heads. If they're already extended too far and they're being squeezed, if you reverse them for just a few seconds. And go again, that's calms them down. Really getting some swing in there now. Okay, we let the rig run for a while, and I think it's not even all the way down. It's just about all the way down, but maybe not quite. Let's see. Looks like it might just be all the way down. Yeah, I think it reached the bottom. So let's see how much stone we pulled. 2 pistons. Already refining some. Okay, well, we filled that cargo completely up, but with over 1,000,000 kilograms of stone. Yeah, and this one is more than halfway full, with almost 700,000. So yeah, and that refinery probably cut that number down. So we just about filled 2 large cargoes with about 2 million stone from 2 pistons. So imagine if I would have extended this piston up and then built 2 more over on the downward direction. We would have needed possibly 2 or 3 more large cargoes. We didn't even get as deep as our initial dig, but there you go. I think I will, let's pretend that we're on a survival server and we're about to log out. I'm going to let that stone process in the refinery, and then we'll take a look at how many ingots we get, and we'll go from there. Perhaps then we will shift our priorities towards going to space. Okay, so we let this run and we let the refinery process all of that stone, just under 2 million. Remember, we have the refinery stacked up with yield modules, so we should be in pretty darn good shape. I don't see any stone left. Now let's check ingots to get a count of what we've got. Ingot. S on the end, okay, IND. Maybe just look at this. No. Storage containers. 152,000 kilograms of iron ingots. That is pretty good for 5 drills wide, 2 pistons deep. $15,000 nickel. Where's my silicone? 28,000 silicone. So I would say we are in great shape to build whatever we want to build. Maybe the next thing to get into is above.